Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. And as you can tell, we're going to be flying the Kodiak 100, which means we'll be doing some on-air carrier add-on missions. So if you have been following my streams, you know that right now we are in LaGuardia in New York City, and we are here because we have to do two special missions as we leveled up. Also, a quick change, I have chosen to go ahead with the cargo pod version of Kodiak 100. So the reason is because the weight and balance is just so much easier to configure with this one. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start finding our mission. It's already pending, the special mission. It's been pending for a while now, and in the last stream I switched my aircraft configuration in order to make sure that we can take passengers. So in the first mission that we are going to go towards, what is this? Igor Sikorsky Memorial Airport, I believe. Okay. So we're gonna be going there. Seems like it's somewhere in Connecticut. Yeah. So let's go ahead and choose that mission right now. Let's go to live server. Okay, here we are, and we can go ahead and choose the passengers here. Okay, 5 passengers and our cargo as well. So let's go ahead, get some fuel. I'm gonna just get some extra fuel so that I don't have to do, so maybe I'll just give 50%. All I have to remember is the weights over here so that I can configure it into my sim. Actually, let's go ahead and do that first before I validate fuel and stuff. So in terms of fuel, we are gonna have 1059 pounds, which is 50%. I think MSFS default is 50%. So that should work out. Yeah, there you go. Fuel is good. We don't have a co-pilot, so we're gonna remove that. And our pilot weight is 190 pounds. And that information is also in the weights data. Other than that, we are gonna have cargo of 283 pounds. So let's go ahead and use the bay 1. We have a total cargo of 283. So we're gonna change few things depending on how it goes. So 283. Okay. So we max is 290. We can just fit everything at once. Other than that, we have 5 passengers. So let's go ahead and start filling up from our row 2 for our center of gravity. So we have in total passenger 950 pounds. So we'll start with about 160 pounds for one passenger, and then we will go ahead, give another 160 pounds for another passenger. We can go ahead, give another 160, so that's 3 passengers. Let's go ahead and put it right there. Oops, not 1600, 160 and 160. So payload, in terms of passenger, we have what, 500, and then 300 more, 800, I think, 950. So we can have one more passenger actually. Yeah, there you go. So this should, I mean, no, we don't want that to be passenger, do we? So payload is 1297. Actually we are set. Yeah, payload is, yeah, actually we are set here. So we have our all our configuration set. Let's go inside the aircraft and check. There you go. We named him Jim, and then we have few other people that we can name. And in the back you can see a lot of cargo boxes. So all of that is looking good. So we can go ahead and validate our fuel and payload. It's gonna take around 30 seconds to set all that up. In the meantime, we can start with our checklist. So first thing, fuel shut off, left and right is on. I'll lock the harnesses. Then we can come back here. So this is the firewall shut off valve, will be pushed in. My rudder pedals are still causing me issues, so I might have to do some work over there when we're on flight. And if you know me, I do not like the standby altitude display, so I'm gonna take that switch off. And in this meantime, we are set here, so we can go ahead one more time, check everything is good, and fly now. Once we start tracking, we're gonna start turning up our aircraft. So the temperature is very, very low in New York City. Like, it's bricks in terms of New York City language. Let's go ahead, start tracking. Today morning when I went to drop my wife off to work, oof, it was bad. It was really bad. I like to have my flight data page on. Why is it not coming? Yeah, there you go. So we have all the information, the meter information and everything over here, but we can use our G1000 NX size. Well, now that we start tracking, let's go ahead, turn on our nav light. Everything else is looking good. Okay, master can come on, avionics can come on. Other than that, we already have nav lights on, and our GPS is loading. So while that is being done, let's go ahead and turn on our engine. For that, we'll turn on our beacon light. I will just put you right over here. So before we turn on our engine, let's go ahead through some of the data. We need to have minimum 24 volt from our battery. Both of them are at 25, so we're good. Other than that, what we are going to do is we're going to have a low start, as we do not have any external power connected. So for that, we'll turn on our auxiliary fuel pump. We'll turn on our ignition and put our starter to low. Then we'll monitor our NG over here. Once that reaches minimum 14%, we'll put our fuel condition lever to low idle. And then we'll continue to monitor our NG. Once that reaches and stabilizes at around 53%, we can turn off our starter, ignition, and auxiliary fuel pump can come to standby. After that, we can turn on our auxiliary bus, generator, alternator, and our prop can go to max. So with all that said and done, let's go ahead and do it. Auxiliary fuel pump is on, ignition is on, and starter is on low. I'm tracking the NG. It's almost at 14. There you go.
Flight will be monitored until you land
Fuel condition lever is in low idle. Continue to monitor NG here. ITT is rising as well. So we are at 53%. There you go. Let's turn off our starter, ignition, and auxiliary fuel pump is on standby. Auxiliary bus is on, generator, alternator, and our prop can go to max, blue right over here. So we have everything good. Now let's go ahead and head to our MFD to set up our flight plan. We are flying from KLGA to Kilo Bravo Delta Romeo. For that, we'll go to flight plan and let's set that up. KLGA, there you go. Over here we have the meter information. The winds are at 230 at 9 knots. So let's go ahead and see what runway we can choose. 31 sounds good to me, so I'll select that. Destination Kilo Bravo Delta Romeo. So there you go, Igor Skorsky Memorial. Select that. Winds are 230 at 6 knots for now, so let's choose a runway 24. Very easy decision there. We'll put that enter, and let's see for procedure, what kind of procedure do we have to us. We chose 24, so we have RNAV, which I really do like, and we'll go to initial approach fix here. Minimums, I'm going to set our radio altimeter to about 300 feet or 350 feet. With that set, let's go ahead and load that up as well. So our MFD is set. We're going towards northeast. With all that set, our final approach fix is 1800 feet. Keeping that in mind, let's go to our PFD. So in our PFD, we're going to set our autopilot system. Let's go ahead and select our altitude to what do I want? 5,500 sounds good to me. How far is it? Let me quickly check. It should be around 50 nautical miles. Yep. So 5,500 is, it sounds good to me. CDI will turn it to GPS or altimeter. So one of the quick way, obviously if you have OnAir Airline Manager, you can just look it up on the flight data page. Currently the altimeter is 3050, it's showing over there, but just to confirm and to show you how you can find it out easily, we can press this right over here and then we can go up to origin and altimeter 3053. A little bit of difference, but that is fine. So let's go ahead over here and 3053. There you go, we have 3053 here. Just confirming one more time. 3053 is good. I'll hide the flight plan page in my MFD right now and just zoom in a little bit. Okay, as we are over here, let's go ahead and select our vertical speed mode so that will be armed and set to go. We'll climb in at about 1600 feet initially and then we can decide the next. Everything else is looking good to me. Currently it's in roll and we can just click on nav and GPS is set. Okay, everything's said and done. We are ready to taxi, I believe. So before we taxi, let's go ahead and set few things up as well, which is flaps. Flaps will be set for takeoff. Our pitot heat, I will just turn it on because we'll need it very soon. And with that said, we have everything. Tracking is on. So let's go ahead and leave. Taxi light can come on. Parking brake can go off and we'll start moving. So runway 31 is right, on our right, so that should be good. Also yesterday there was an update for FS traffic and I think it's working better now. Taking a lot of power for us to move here. The airport is not level in Flight Simulator here. Like there are a lot of ups and downs and I think that's one of the issues right now. Hopefully it'll be get fixed or I'll have to just buy the airport. I think there is one available for LaGuardia. So we are at our holding short point. We're gonna stop right over here and put our parking brake on. Turn on our landing and strobe light. Taxi light can go off. Auxiliary fuel pump will come on. And before I forget, let me put my AC to 28. Just a little bit warmer. You can turn it on. Not max. Put it down. Yeah. That should be good. Everyone will be comfy and toasty back in there. So with that said, let's put our fuel condition lever to high. Parking brake can go off and let's go ahead. Also, let me quickly set my rudder trim. Not too much, just enough. Looks like we're gonna take off, follow the runway heading just for a bit, and then we are going to take a right hand turn. Our rotate speed should be 65 knots. Not checking my checklist today. Hopefully my mind is sharp enough. So let's go ahead and stop right over here. We are good for takeoff. Increase my torque. Making sure we do not get on the red or yellow zone. a lot of right rudder necessary here. 60 knots, and we're gonna take off.
Airborne time logged.
Flaps can come to 10 degrees. As we cross 90, we'll put it to 0. So there you go, flaps completely up. Auxiliary fuel pump can go off. Your damper can come on, and we'll bring our rudder trim back to normal. We'll try to climb at around 100 knots, 105 knots. I can go ahead and turn on the autopilot, but I think I'll just wait for a little bit. Let's line up. We'll have tailwind, so we'll get to our destination faster. One more thing is the passengers that we're carrying are business class, which means we must have smooth landing. Hoping for that, and hopefully my rudder pedals won't act up, because if you've been watching my other streams, you know towards the ending I keep on kicking my rudder pedals to make sure it doesn't act strange. So what happens is, if I don't use my rudder pedal for like let's say 10 minutes or 5 minutes, and then suddenly I use it, it just goes extreme to the right or then extreme to left. It takes a little bit to get used to. We're having a nice climb up here. I'm gonna hand fly for a bit. It's really fun hand flying the Kodiak. We can see an aircraft there. I don't know if it's coming for a landing or what, but there's the aircraft I was talking about. Just try to intercept the GPS waypoint, and then we'll just turn on our autopilot. I can turn it on right now as well, so here you go, everything up to our autopilot. I'm gonna increase my climb rate just a little bit by 800. And yeah, I hope everyone is comfy back there. Look at how beautiful this is. Man, I love this plane. I love this plane a lot. Okay, now that we are on our way, let me show you something. So on OnAir Manager, as I always talk about these things in every flight, but yeah, you see, once we are on air, our destination airport meter information will be right in front of us. The winds are not matching from what we saw earlier, so we'll confirm that on the sim as well. I'd rather trust the sim in this case, because I think the sim shows the weather that is being simulated inside Microsoft Flight Simulator. But look at that, we're flying through Bronx and then Westchester right over here. Beautiful. We are almost at our cruising altitude. Once we get to our cruising altitude, we're gonna put our RPM to about 2000, and yeah, that is it. We have more than enough fuel. Just checking, all our engine instruments are green. Also, I think this is when I would go ahead and activate my approach. Yep, so let's go ahead and activate our approach, which means if we go to our MFD and we click on flight plan, we can see our top of descent is in 16 or 15 minutes. Once we get to cruising, it's gonna get like super fast, so as you can see the time is dropping rapidly. Once we go, and once we're about 5 minutes away, I'll set my altitude to, I guess, 200 feet below our final approach fix, and that is pretty much it. So we are at our cruising altitude, which means first we're gonna bring down our torque, so our power lever will come back a little bit, and then I will decrease my RPM to come to about 2000. There you go, we have 2000, and then I can bring back my power, making sure we do not go on the yellow zone or the red. We're cruising at about 160 knots, which is more than enough. Also, let's talk about the weather, the fact that you can now have weather on the G1000 NXIs. I mean, this was on for a while, but I didn't know. So we can click on mod. So first of all, you have to use this knob to go to the weather radar page, and then you can click on mode, put on standby, and then weather. So first it will show you a horizontal weather. Right now, even if we move our range, we can't see anything. It's because it's very clear. If you go to vertical, same thing. So I guess there's not a good example because we don't have any weather up front of us, but whenever we stream next, I will make sure to show you that. Now that we have all that, let's head back to our navigation map page, bring our flight plan. Yeah, this is pretty good. Okay, RPM is below 2000. Let me just bring that to 2000 here. And we are cruising at 173 knots, very fast. Usually I don't go that fast, so I'll just bring it back a little bit so we don't overspeed. We are about 8.5 minutes away from our top of descent, and I'll show you how I use VNAV in Kodiak 100 to descend down to, follow our procedure. And with that said, let's go ahead to MFD one more time. And last time I showed you how we can check our origin weather. This time I'll show you how to check our destination weather. We click over here, use the lower knob to go down all the way to destination, and there you go. There's the weather right now, 230 at 6 knots, which means our runway heading is still good to go. The plan is, once we get there, we have to find another mission to come back to LaGuardia. Hopefully we can find one that brings us right back, and once we are back there, we have to do the second leg of our mission. Or I think for the second leg, I'm not sure yet, but maybe we'll have to pick up the passenger from where we are going. I'm not 100% sure yet, because when I was loading the aircraft, it only showed 5 passengers. So maybe we'll have to go to our current destination, and from there we're gonna pick up passenger for one more flight down New Jersey somewhere. Let's see, I'm excited because these missions are getting us a heck lot of money and XP. As long as I can have a good landing, I think we should be good. So around 7 minutes left before we get to top of descent. I think that's Westchester County, or no, that's actually Stamford, Connecticut. See it on the map. Let's have a look at our passenger. Hopefully everyone is doing good. Wait, where did my other passengers go? And cargo. So I think this is what, once I press start tracking, so this is something that happens. Like, they just put the entire weight on, let's say, like 2 of these places. I need to find the setting where it does not set the weight by itself on the sim. Yeah, I think I'll have to fix that, because then my center of gravity could be completely messed up. Let me check my weight and balance. Even though everything's set over here, but what OnAir Airline Manager application does is it just randomly, I think, puts all the weight in these 2 seats. Let's go to options and global settings. I don't see anything. Yeah, I don't really see any option that would do that. Hmm. I guess we'll have to find out before we do our next flight, because I had it perfectly set up, all the widths and everything, but just changed it a bit. Well, that is okay. We're still having a nice flight, cruising at about 170 knots, and if we go to our MFD, we can see our top of descent is 4.5 minutes away. So let me show you what I do. First, I'll note down that our final approach fix altitude is 1800 feet. And then I'll go over here. In order for VNAV to act or to become armed and then activate, in order to use VNAV, we have to set the altitude to something lower than our current cruising altitude. So let's go ahead. We're gonna set 1600 because we know that our final approach fix is at 1800, so we're gonna set it 1600. Once we have that, we go down over there. You can see the VNAV button is right there. I'll just use my button on my Bravo throttle quadrant that I mapped to it. And once we click that VNAV, if we go over here, you can see VPath is armed. Once we cross over our top of descent point, our VPath will be activated and we're gonna start descending down. Also, this is a good time to check our weather one more time for destination and make sure that our altimeter is set. So altimeter is 3021. Let's go to our PFD and let's set our altimeter. 3021. Should have that map too. 3021, which brings us below where we were. This is the waypoint weather. Destination 3021. Winds are 230 at 6 knots, and the time was 15:52 Zulu. So they didn't update after that. It seems like clear. So visibility and everything is a-okay. We are 2.5 minutes away, or 2 minutes away from our top of descent. Once we are descending down, what I'm going to do is pull my power back, of course. And yeah, that's pretty much what we have to do. Pull our power back, make sure we're not overspeeding on our approach. The airport should be somewhere around over here. Right now we have some tailwind, you can see on our PFD. 29 knots of tailwind. Not bad, not bad. And we're very close to our top of descent. Also, if you can see the minor details, all this time we were flying November 2028 kilo, but now I have switched my tail number to November Zulu Alpha 9er 7 kilo. Right over here as well. There you go. I love how this plane looks and flies. Really one of my favorite. And the cargo pod extension is cool as well. 170 knots. So let me start pulling back my power. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my RPM max. Before we reach our top of descent, I'll just pull our power back. In terms of descent, there is not much to do. We went through our procedure. We have set RNAV for runway 24. There we go. VPath is flashing green on our PFD right here, which means it is activated. So I'm going to cut down my power. We'll try to descend within 160 knots. So 150, 55 should be good. Once we cross our initial approach fixed point, I am going to go ahead and put my flaps to 10. And then as we go closer to our final approach fix, I'll put flaps 20, and the moment we cross final approach fix, our flaps are gonna go full down 35. Yaw damper is gonna come off, and auxiliary fuel pump will come on. And that is basically it. Checklist for landing before landing will be done, and then we can just go ahead and hopefully have a very smooth landing. The airport is, oh no, should be somewhere around here, right? No, it's actually I think behind us. I think it's right there, yeah. Thankfully we didn't have anything going on in this flight. The winds were okay. I'm not sure how it's gonna be when we are down there before our final approach fix. Normally that's where we face a lot of weather, unfortunately, in most of my streams. If you watch my down the East Coast bush trip where we completed 5th leg, we're gonna do 6th leg, I think. Most probably I'll do it tomorrow. Right now we are basically going from North Carolina to South Carolina, or I think we already went there. We'll do one more airport in South Carolina before we go to Georgia. The whole down the East Coast push trip is basically we start flying from Long Island MacArthur Airport in Long Island, New York, and our final airport where we're trying to reach is Key West, Florida. And we're flying the Piper Aero 3 by Just Flight for that push trip. So you can see something really nice over here in our MFD. First of all, bottom of descent, we'll get there in 20 seconds, and I think this arrow means that we are going to go ahead and make this turn in order to line up with our runway. Yep, we can see the aircraft is moving. So most probably we're gonna follow this path right here. We're losing speed a little bit, so once we complete this turn and we're lined up, we're gonna set our flaps to 10, and for flaps 10 in Kodiak 100 the speed is 138 or below. So we gotta stay at least 138 or below 138. Look at that, beautiful. My sim has been, now this is something that I actually wanted to talk. So a lot of people online, they complain about the instability of sim and how there are so many CTDs. Now I'm not saying that I haven't faced CTD. Like literally yesterday when I was trying a flight with the PMDG 737-800, I had a CTD the moment I started. I took off, I was climbing, and I think I was around in 3,000 feet, so I just took off, and suddenly my game just crashed. I was in desktop, and I mean, I knew that that might happen. Now all the CTDs that I have had, I knew, like, you know, once it happened, I was not surprised. I was like, yeah, okay, there might be a reason it happened, and the reason was always like I was very close to it. So yesterday I flew the PMDG 737 after a long time, and even after updates and the sim update and all that. So I kind of expected it to crash. But people who are like unfortunately going through a lot of CTDs, I would say that one way that I've avoided unnecessary CTDs is to keep my community folder clean. You know, clean doesn't mean that I'm not gonna have any mods or anything. Clean means that the mods that I'm not using, one, the mods that I'm not using are not going to be there. I'll just delete them. Second, every mod or skin or anything third party related that I'm using, I'm going to make sure that it's updated. Especially after having a sim update, you must update all the mods that you use if there is an update available. I've also seen a lot of people saying that when you're updating, make sure you clean, move everything from your community folder. That helps too. I used to do that, but right now, because of space issues in my computer and external drives, I usually don't do that. I'm like, I'll be fine as long as I make sure all my mods and everything is updated. So yeah, I think these are few points that you can follow in order to not have unnecessary CTDs, and there will be CTDs because if you use third party mods or aircrafts or skins or airports, I mean everything is code at the end of the day. And the sim, if you think about it, it's new, it's not that old, it's like 2-3 years old. And the developers, whether they're third party or whether they're Ashobo developers, they're working to get everything fixed. But there are times when codes are gonna conflict. There might be memory leaks and all different kind of issues and have a CTD. So I would say don't always blame it on the updates and everything. Make sure to keep a clean community folder, update your mods, keep an eye on all the change logs. Like after the last avionics update, Ashobo clearly wrote that you have to remove the working title G1000 or G3000 and CJ4 mods because they were already applied to the aircrafts. And even the TBM, which right now is so good to fly, the TBM 930. So as long as we follow those guidelines, we should be able to have a clean and concise application. Also in my MFD here, I can see that there's a hold. So what we're gonna quickly do is we're gonna go here, we go in and enter here. No, wait, back. Flight plan. I don't want to get into the hold, so we're gonna go direct to and activate. So this way we're directly heading towards the final approach fix. So we crossed our initial approach fix, which means I'm gonna bring my speed down to 138 knots. There you go. I'll put my flaps to 10, and the speed in Kodiak decreases rapidly when you put your flaps down. So make sure to keep an eye on that. For our next flaps, the speed limit is 120 knots. So we'll try to cruise or descend within around 125. That way we can quickly pull back and we can have our desired speed. In terms of wind, it's headwind. We are set for landing. And I can see the airfield right over here. Once we are very, very close to final approach fix, I'm gonna press my approach button, so that way we can use the glide path available for our RNAV approach, which we'll not use for too long. Once we are clear and we are satisfied with the altitude and everything and winds, I think I'm just gonna go manual landing. I'll just kick my rudder pedals real quick so we don't have any issue. We are at 130 knots, so I'm gonna pull back a little bit more. Let's try to stay within 25 to 28 knots. That way we have room to just cut back the throttle more and go ahead and land. So for flaps 20 the speed is 120, and for flaps 35, which is full flaps in Kodiak, the speed limit is 108 knots. So we are at 120 knots. We'll try to stay here. something happened. Okay, so we're gonna turn off our autopilot. We're gonna descend down from here, and I can see the runway. So something happened and the aircraft stopped descending. Not an issue, we can go ahead from here. We know where the runway is. Just gonna make sure my rudder pedals are good. I can turn off my yaw damper just in a bit. And I'm gonna go ahead, put my flaps to 20 degrees, keep my eye on the speed as it's gonna decrease rapidly. I can see the runway light, so that's good. So I guess we did not use our glide path, and flying this aircraft is fun anyways. Like it's just a delight to fly this plane, so no complaints at all. I think because after I moved from the hold, I don't know, I didn't click on VNAV again or something probably like that, caused the plane not to descend further down, but that's fine. The visibility is perfect, so we don't even need glide path, and the winds are not too bad so far. It's straight up headwind. So I guess the meter that we received from our flight simulator G1000 was accurate to the sim compared to the updated meter that we received from OnAir Manager. We're descending pretty good, so I'm gonna cut down my power more and I will start. Flaps can go full. We'll target a speed of 80-85 for our final descent, and I'll turn on the auxiliary fuel pump and your damper can go off. With all that's set, we are configured for landing. One more kick to my rudder pedals. We are a little bit below in terms of altitude. I'm gonna pull up my power just a little bit, but we cannot cross 108 knots as we are already configured for landing with flaps full.
Wind 220 at 9 knots.
The whole point is like power management in this aircraft. Once your speeds and your power is good, there shouldn't be any issue. So right now we are at around 80 knots. Gotta decrease a little bit more altitude. Thankfully the winds are not too bad, and hopefully it doesn't change when we get very close to the landing. I'll kick the rudder pedal one more time, making sure everything is good. I'll zoom in on my MFD map so we can taxi easy. Our speed and everything is good, so this landing shouldn't be bad. A little bit of resistance from wind here. Okay, relax. We got this. There you go, we are very close. I'm gonna cut down my throttle. Oh, we already landed. Wow. I wanted to flare, but never mind. Well, I do not mind that. We'll take the next taxiway and we'll get on the general aviation ramp that I see on my right. Well, fuel pump can go to standby. Flaps can come up. We're gonna take this right turn over here. Okay. Landing and strobe light can go off. Taxi light will come on. Fuel condition lever can come to low idle. As we get closer to, we can I think park anywhere over there. So we'll go ahead and park right in front of the control tower. This is one of the most beautiful control towers that I've seen. We're gonna go ahead and park somewhere right over here. Hopefully nobody is gonna mind us. So let's put our parking brake on. Taxi light can go off. And I'll leave the nav lights on. That's fine. Let's go ahead and turn off our alternator, generator, turn off the AC or heating, whatever you wanna say, and then we'll bring our prop to feather. Fuel condition lever can go
Engine
low
off, time
idle.
logged. The flight is finished.
Pitot heat can go
It has
off,
been monitored
and
by OnAir.
auxiliary fuel pump can go off. Well, with that, it seems like we had a very smooth landing according to OnAir manager, so that is good. There you go. Safety bonus and everything is good. Normal wear and tear, that's fine. Our landing rate was 144 feet per minute, so not too bad. I think I would have wanted to flare a little bit more, but we just got to the ground. Well, I do not mind at all. So let's go ahead and check our next pending mission, which is also a level up mission. And there you go. Base So let's go ahead and get our passengers back up. We have enough fuel. We shouldn't be. So yeah, we have to pick the passenger from this airport then. They've already arrived, so we'll go ahead pick these passengers up and the second cargo. Let's see if there's an option over here that says that it's gonna set the cargo in our sim. I don't see anything, honestly. So where are we going? We are going to Kilo Bravo Lima Mike. What is that airport? Monmouth Executive, 74 nautical miles away. And we're going to be flying towards the west. So I think we'll be cruising at 6,500 feet there. Put my beacon off. Okay, with that, fuel and everything validated, let's go ahead fly now and get done with this mission. So the winds are actually, yeah, okay, the winds are good here. 3050 is the thing. Okay, let's go. Fuel, total payload, auto set. Yeah, I think this is the option that does it. I'll have to play around with this when I'm not streaming. For now, I'll just let it be how it is. And let's go ahead and get done with this mission. So same thing, we're gonna take runway 22. Let's turn on our engine and then we will set our flight plan. So beacon light will come on. We are going to do the same procedure. Auxiliary fuel pump on, ignition on, and starter will go to low. I'll monitor the NG on my iPad here, so I'm not gonna zoom in there. We're almost at 14%. There you go. I'll put it to low idle.
Until you land and shut down the engines.
Waiting for NG to reach 53%. Okay, we have 53% here. Starter can go to low. Ignition is off. Auxiliary fuel pump is standby. We'll go ahead, turn on auxiliary bus, generator and alternator. Prop can go max. So we have a good engine start. Let's go to our MFD and we just have to click on menu and then delete the flight plan. So let's go ahead, create a new one. Origin Kilo Bravo Delta and Romeo. Have that. The meter is 220 at 5 knots. So let's go ahead, choose runway 24. enter, and for our destination we are going to Kilo Bravo Lima Mike. Kilo Bravo Lima and Mike. So Monmouth Executive is probably in New Jersey. So the winds are 230 at 7 knots. 21 runway sounds good to me. For procedure, let's select approach, runway 21. What do we have for runway 21? I guess we have just usual option, which I do not mind at all. So we're gonna go ahead, load, and yeah, we are set to go. So I guess for taxiway, how are we gonna taxi there? Let me hide that flight plan. Yeah, there's a little bit of empty space. I think we can just backtrack. So we're gonna take a right over here. We'll go across runway 11 and 29, and then we'll use this empty space, or we can just go through the runway as long as there's no traffic, and we'll backtrack to runway 24. I'm good with that plan. So let's go ahead, turn on our taxi light, set our flaps to take off. Parking brake can come. Actually, before that I need to set up my PFD. So in terms of altitude, we are going to cruise at 6,500 this time. We are going towards west, so even number plus 500. So 6,500 sounds good to me. For altimeter, let me just click B. Yeah, 3053. I think that was one of the reasons I just dashed on the ground, because I always look at the data for some reason. That should be good. Vertical speed mode, we are going to climb. We're going to start the climb at 1600 feet. We can turn on our pitot heat, and let's go ahead, get the passenger, the VIP passengers, keep it to 29. Okay, there you go. So taxi lights on, parking brake is on, flaps are set, your damper is off, and the one thing that left is rudder trim. Set the rudder trim just a little bit. There you go. With all that set, let's go ahead, parking brake off, and we are off. The windsock is telling me that the wind, yeah, that's good. For some reason I was like, oh, that means opposite, but no. The windsock is good too. Let's make sure there is nobody on final. Nope. Everything is good. So I think we'll have to go across this runway. Yeah, see, the taxi was right there. Cross the runway and then... Oop, never mind. So we're already here. That's good. We just have to turn, do a 180-degree turn. Landing and strobe will come on, taxi light goes off. Look at the beautiful sun there, wow. Fuel condition lever is set to max, auxiliary fuel pump will come on, and we are good to go. We'll rotate at 65 knots. We'll make sure the torque is not in yellow or red. Yep, this is good. Perfect, 16, 17. So we're gonna go ahead.
Airborne time law.
Flaps will come to 10. As we go to 90 knots, flaps will come to 0. Flaps up, your damper can come on, and I'll set the rudder trim back to 0. We can go ahead and turn our autopilot right now, but I'll just climb just a little bit more. auxiliary fuel pump can come off, and our plane is set up for climb. So autopilot can come on. I'll increase the climb rate to stay within 100 knots. 100, 105 should be good. I think the place we're going to right now is, well, it's in New Jersey. The airport is, yeah, it's not too bad. And we can have a visual straight, like we don't have to do any traffic pattern or anything at all, seems like. So I'm gonna go ahead and activate my procedure, which will take me straight to our straight waypoint. So we'll cross over Long Island, New York, and then it's basically New Jersey. Shouldn't take us too long. If we go to flight plan page, our top of descent, it shows in 38 minutes, because one, we have headwind, and two, we're still not cruising. So once we're cruising, it's gonna be within around 20 minutes away, so it won't be too bad. Okay, we are almost at our cruising altitude. We're climbing at around a good speed, 107 knots. Not too bad. The winds are really calm. It's just headwind. I mean, not calm, but once we take the turn, it's gonna be straight up headwind, as long as it's not tail or crosswind. We're about 500 feet away from our cruising altitude. And I think the last landing was pretty good. The rudder pedals didn't go all crazy. The winds were good as well. The sky is clear. The sky is completely clear on the east coast today. So as we are coming in for our cruise, ooh, look at that sun. It's beautiful. We can use the, well, never mind. Won't work. Okay, there we go. So now that we're cruising, let's go ahead and first bring our power back a little bit down to set our torque, our RPM to about 2000. There we go, this should be good, and then bring our power back up without going to the yellow zone. So we're around 19 minutes, 18 minutes away from our top of descent. I love these shorter flights with Kodiak. and it's like so much more fun. You land, take off, new airport, new area. Love that. And today is just a beautiful day. It's very cold outside, but still it's very, very beautiful. So we're at 170 knots. I'm gonna bring down my power just a little bit. RPM 2000 is set. Power just a little bit back. We don't want to overspeed. We want to stay within 170 knots. I like the sun on my face in this case. This honestly has been one of the nicest flights I had in the past week, I would say. I'm very, very close to being on VATSIM always when I'm streaming. Just going through a few more basic stuff. I want to make sure that when I'm on VATSIM, I'm not doing anything that I don't understand and not frustrating any of the controllers or other players. That is why I'm taking my time, learning it little by little, and off when I'm not streaming or recording videos, I do go on VATSIM, time to time do short flights, and a lot of reading and watching videos to learn more about ATC communication. This time I'm gonna make sure there is no holds or anything. So let me go to my MFD. Final, so straight to final, no hold. I like that. It is usual runway 21. Let's go ahead and quickly have a look at destination METAR if we do. Updated on 1556 Zulu, say 30 at 7 knots, altimeter 3023. Then we can go ahead and set that altimeter 3023. But then the altimeter on METAR, yeah, 3023. Go ahead, 3023. Yeah, that is good. We'll climb a little bit to get to 6,500 feet. RPM is at 2000. All T's and N's are in green. So also an update. I think I will join the virtual Southwest Airlines. I've seen that you have to do I think for the first flight you have 10 days after you join. You have to do one flight, and then after that I think there's like a good gap in every 20 days you gotta do one flight. Also, I finally got my throttle set for the Bravo throttle quadrant. The default one that comes with the Bravo throttle quadrant is just too tiny, so I ordered from, I think it's called Pro Desk Skin, and those are very, very nice, well built. Highly recommend them. And yeah, I think I'm gonna start flying the 737, but not as much as I enjoy flying GA. Definitely not as much. We're gonna do like same thing, short flights within an hour 30 range. And yeah, very excited to do that actually. We're on 12 minutes away from our top of descent. The day is beautiful. It's very, very clear skies. I can see an airliner up there. Not much of a traffic other than that. One more over there, and I think there are some below us. I can see on my MFD. Next 20 minutes we should be done with this leg as well, and that's when I'll end my stream too. But the flights have been really nice. Once I complete, I'm gonna get a bunch of XP and money. I still don't know what to do with the money. Right now I have like 1.1 million cash in OnAir Airline Manager, and I don't know, maybe buy a CRJ or something and start doing regional flights. I don't know. I think that's what I can do. I can buy a CRJ 700 or lease one, and we can start doing short flights, and we can move up from just GA. But I don't want to leave Kodiak 100. I really have an attachment to this aircraft. In real life, hopefully one day when I do get my private pilot license, I might be able to fly a Kodiak one day, who knows. That's really what I wish for. Right now we are flying over Long Island. I think that is MacArthur, right? Let's go ahead and quickly check that. No, that's Kilo Foxtrot Romeo Golf. I don't know what airport is that, but we can go to, let me show you. We can go to our PFD, click on nearest, and yeah, there you go. Still no name. How do I get into this page? Nearest, and then, oh yeah, okay, there you go, enter. Maybe, I don't know. Enter, nothing, no information. No, it doesn't show any information, I guess. Or I don't know how to get to the information page. Let's go here and check. This is engine. All the pages are working, that is good. Not option, we don't need that. Traffic is on. I think the nearest thing doesn't work here, does it? I'm thinking what area is here in Long Island. My memory is not too good, so I can dig up that much. Yeah, KSP is Long Island MacArthur. Oh well, whatever. We're going over Long Island. That's, I think, everything that we need to know. Oof, the sun is beautiful. We are around 8.5 minutes away from our top of descent, cruising pretty well, no turbulence, nothing going on. We do have headwind of 36 knots coming in from our 2 o'clock, I would say, coming from west. That sun is just so beautiful. That is LaGuardia right there. Oh wait, you can see right here there's LaGuardia, and we can see someone departing. Fire Island somewhere right over here. Evening flights are actually really fun and scenic, especially if it's a clear day. Like, look at how beautiful the sun looks as it's dropping down the horizon. If you were flying towards the east right now, it wouldn't have been as good. Everything would have looked very dark, but flying towards the west, everything worked out. About 7 minutes away from top of descent, and same thing once we get over our top of descent. Actually, let me set my flight computer. So our final approach fix is only at 500 feet, which means I'll not risk it, so I'll just put 400 feet for migration. So 400 feet on my altitude selector. We don't even need to go down all the way, I'll take over the control. But with that set, let me just click on my VNAV button and VPath is armed. So once we cross over top of descent, we will start descending down, and from there we'll set our settings accordingly. Ooh, what was that? Very interesting. I don't know what that was. Seemed like someone just pushed our plane on the side. I just went near my window, and believe me, the sunset is safe. Oh, we are overspeeding, 180 knots. So almost on the line of overspeeding. So let's stay within 170 knots. The wind has turned crosswind completely, and oof, turbulence here. We really got pushed down 400 feet here. And as you can see, right over here is JFK. So that's a class Bravo airspace. If I was an ATC, I would have had to ask for permission before I entered this airspace. But right now, nobody can see us, so we're good. And we're not causing any trouble, so we really are good here. I'm going to bring my RPM all the way up. I still have to understand how or why the RPM is. Like, we should put it at 2000 or more. Still need to learn those things. But yeah, we are at around 160 knots here. 5 minutes away from top of descent. That is beautiful. This sim is just getting better and better and better. And Jim is very serious. He always has a serious face. I wish one thing is like when I'm on this seat, like when I use my hat switch, I could see down. But yeah, this is beautiful too. Flying very close to JFK. So once we're done with this special mission that we had after we leveled up, I think my goal is to go down south as far as I can until we have to return back to Locordia for... I think it's gonna be a thing where like every time I level up, I'll have to do this special mission, so I have to... And it's gonna be fun, like, you know, going to different area and then we have to return back to base. It's definitely gonna be fun. just a minute and a half, and I hope we get there right before, I mean we'll get there right before the sun sets. And we got to watch a beautiful sunset as well on clear skies. I hope the winds have calmed down a little bit. 37 knots coming in from west. Hopefully, while we are trying to land, it's not too bad. Is there a yellow thing on my... Ooh, there's an aircraft like... Oh my god, who is that? Bruh. That is so funny. I was like, why is there yellow on my MFD? And then I see this big jet. Class Bravo Airspace. That's a generic plane, so not any online player. Or maybe it is, who knows. One thing that I can do is I can use my flow. I think that's what you can do. Who is this? Can I click on that? Nope, I cannot. But that was very funny. That was very funny. Is there a way I could find that out? How about using the MSFS VFR? Nope, nothing. I think in updates there was something regarding that. Nameplates, yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and try to see. Also, we're already descending here, so let me cut down on my power. Nameplates, right? Let's just search that up. Nameplates, nope. Nothing that has to do anything with nameplates here. Then where is... Let me read the update notes one more time. Essentials and Pro. I have that added, the ability to modify the size of flight data on screen. How do I do that though? I still have to figure that out, but that was very, very weird. I don't even know where the plane went. It says it's behind me one more time. Yeah, I think that is definitely someone with the F-16. So what happens is, if you do not have F-16 set, then usually it's yeah, usually it just uses a generic model. This time I don't know why it's using this, but okay. Buddy, you're coming very close to my Kodiak. Let's see. I don't know why he's doing that, but let me try to find if somehow we can manage to get that. Checklist, weight and balance. Yeah, it's definitely a player, an online player. So let me go ahead on our settings. General option, traffic, nameplates, and let me turn it on. Okay, there you go. FA1, FA18. So as expected. Also, why are we on altitude when we have to descend? My VNAV is for some reason not working properly. So we're gonna go ahead and descend by ourselves, or else it would be too late. And thanks for joining me on my flight, buddy. So we're gonna descend pretty steep right now. My VNAV is not working for some reason. Gotta check what's up with that. So by the time we get to our next waypoint, which is straight, we need to be at 1300 feet. I believe it's hand flying from here. which I do not mind at all. It's honestly so fun to fly this plane. So yes, if it's an online player and he's using an aircraft that is not like, let's say in this case F-15 if or F-18, if I don't have F-18 installed, which is a third-party aircraft, then Microsoft Flight Simulator is gonna just give it whatever it thinks is the best model. So still my VNAV is not working. Pick an altitude selector mod. If I try to press the VNAV, what happens? Nothing. Very interesting. And we're still good. We don't have to worry about anything. But I definitely have to check what's up with the VNAV profile or why it is not doing its job. We're around like 4 minutes, 3 minutes away from our destination. Almost sunset. I hope the airport has lights, if anything. Let me kick my rudder pedal once. Okay, that is good. And we'll kick it once or twice more before we land. That's like a routine now. It's part of my checklist. We'll try to stay within 138 knots. Sun is setting. Looks beautiful, and our friend Hoki Doki or Okay Hoki has left us. So we're gonna soon put our flaps to 10 as we cross over our initial approach fix. Our speed is good. Speed looks good. We're gonna take a left turn and we'll be lined up with the runway shortly. There you go, just following my GPS CDI. So I'm gonna bring my speed down to about 138 knots. I don't know if that is the runway straight ahead. It shouldn't be. We're dropping the altitude very, very fast. I think the runway doesn't have a light. Yeah. Okay. My flaps to 1. Cut down my speed. There you go. Yeah, I think the runway is somewhere over here. There is absolutely no light.
Wind 220 at 10 knots.
Okay, flaps ready, 120 knots. There you go. Flaps down further. Yaw damper off. Auxiliary fuel pump on. Flaps full. I have no idea where the runway is, honestly. Bring up my power. This is a very tricky situation. I can't see the runway at all, and we might have to go into pattern or something if we go around. Speed is good. Is this the runway? Man, I can't see anything here. Yep, that is the runway. Confirmed. It is barely a runway. There is no light or anything. I'm so mad right now. As long as we can land safe. Winds are not helping us. Okay, there you go.
Landing time logged.
And I think we bounced. Oh my god. Yep. We are literally bouncing. That is not good. And we got off the runway. Damn it. This flight was going so good. It just had to do this. With Kodiak, honestly, we'd survive that. And we are on another runway. This is so funny. We landed in one piece. We had multiple bounds, so I don't know what to say about that. Hopefully, OnAir airline manager is gonna understand. We barely saw anything. Should have just called it off and did one more try, but I think it will be okay. So fuel pump can go off, flaps can go all the way up. Once we get off the runway, we will turn our taxi light, landing and strobe can go off. Fuel condition lever will come to low idle. That was not a good landing at all. Not happy about that. The runway was just so small. Wind started coming in from right and left. The first leg was beautiful, but this was not it. Even though Kodiak would have withstood that going off the runway, we'd have survived. Okay, landing and strobe can go off, taxi light can come on. We'll go straight ahead and park somewhere over there. The touchdown wasn't too bad. That is that. Okay, have to quickly shut everything off. So landing lights can go off, beacon is still on, our generator, alternator, auxiliary fuel pump, auxiliary bus goes off, prop to feather, and fuel condition
Engine
lever
off time
is done.
logged.
So
The
there you
flight
go.
is finished.
That is it.
It has been
We have
monitored
completed
by
our
OnAir.
mission. Let me show you, and we've reached level 3 as well. Wow. So we have reached level 3 with that mission. Maybe even level 4, who knows. No, never mind. The landing was okay. It was regular. Landing G was high. Feet was fine. Oof. Well, that is it for this flight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I personally did. The first leg, not the second though. But that is it for today. I'll see you in the next video.